Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Man Cave Stuff with Jackbox Creations. This week, I got my hands on the Nike Vapor Untouchable, the most recent template that the NFL is using. Instead of just putting on the numbers like I did before with the Nick Foles jersey, I'm going to be putting on this jersey the numbers that the team actually puts on, because there is a difference. So stay tuned, check it out, and I hope you enjoy. Welcome back to the cave. You know, the ultimate team item that we can wear is a jersey, right? And we like to get as close to what the players wear on the field as possible. I'm going to be trying to get as close as I can. I'm gonna blank it out. I'm gonna clean it. I'll show you some of my cleaning techniques, and we're going to apply the new graphics and make something really special. So here we have a Vapor Untouchable jersey. I'm guessing someone ordered this on NFLShop. It was a custom jersey. When I bought it, it didn't have a nameplate on the back, just the number 2. And it looks like someone probably just put their name on the back of it, or whatever phrase that they wanted. I just removed the stitching around the numbers. There's a tacky backing on the back of each of the numbers and the materials. So I was able to just pull that off after I removed the seams. As you see, the adhesive here was left behind by the numbers and the material. So I'm going to be using OxyClean. So I give it a good amount of spray. I saturate the area a bit, and I work it in here with the toothbrush. Just rub it together to really work that OxyClean into the material. And I just throw it in the washing machine and I let it hang dry. The jersey we're going to be making today is Eagles 2019 draft pick Miles Sanders out of Penn State. Sanders led all rookie running backs in multiple categories during the 2019 season. By all accounts, he had one of the best seasons for a running back in Eagles history. So doing our research here, we have a Carson Wentz jersey from a game against the Falcons. As you can see, there's stitching on the very top layer, the gray layer, and on the base layer, which is the black layer. As you'll see here, for example, our number 2, there's the base layer, which in this case is the green, the black, and the very top layer, which is a very thin gray. We're going to be sewing down that top layer first, that gray layer. And then we'll move on once we actually have the numbers on the jersey. We're going to be sewing that black layer. Sewing down the top layer here, we're going to start with the TV numbers. It's a very intricate stitch. I usually have to go very slow with a zigzag stitch on that gray layer, making sure that the needle clears both sides fairly cleanly. It's not always a process that goes smoothly, but when done right, it's a really good look. And as we said before, we're going for that on-field players exclusive jersey look. So here we have finished the very top layer, that number 2. Moving on to the nameplate here, I took a piece of fabric that I had that's very similar to what they use on the jersey, and I heat applied a piece of material on the back so that it adds like a sticky backing. I cut out a template, very rough looking cardboard template, and I'm just going to trace the edges with the Sharpie. As you may have seen in my other videos, I have here what's called a serger machine. And the serger basically makes that stitching around the edges of the nameplate that you see on any professional football jersey. You have to go very slowly, pushing this thing through to really make it straight, or as straight as I can possibly get it. I cut out the pieces for the name on the back. With that material, I've heat pressed. First I heat pressed that bottom base green layer, and then I apply the top, the black layer. Now we're gonna go back with our sewing machine here again, and we're gonna do that same zigzag stitch, slowly going around the black layer, trying to clear the edges as much as possible to give it a very clean, very professional look. With sewing, it's one of those things that the more you do it, the better you get. If you're considering getting a sewing machine, I would just practice, and practice some more if you want to get good at it. Moving on to placing the numbers. So as I said before, I'm going to be making our rookie sensation Miles Sanders, but while I have the numbers here, the 2-6, I do have the option, and it's not too late, I could make it a Jason Kelce jersey. Just switch the 6 and the 2. Philadelphia! But no, I'm keeping my trust in Miles Sanders. That's where I decided to go with this thing, and that's who we're going to be creating. Once we've pressed all the numbers onto the jersey, front, back, and TV numbers, it's time to sew down that final black layer, essentially finishing the edges of the material and giving it a clean, professional look. The Eagles jerseys, as we talked about before, have a lot of round edges, and those are the toughest when you're working with the sewing machine, especially with the zigzag stitch, as you have to take the curves and the corners very slowly. Once we're finished sewing down all the numbers and we're happy with how it looks, we move on to the nameplate. I end up using a straight stitch with the nameplate here. You could use a zigzag. It is different for different jerseys and even different years. One of the final pieces that I wanted to add to this involves the NFL celebrating its 100th season. This patch was worn on the collar. I don't know where the seller got it from, but it's the real deal. So our first step here is going to be removing that shield. It looks like a gray thread that they used. I'm going to take out my seam ripper, and I'm of course going to remove it from the back as I've done before with the numbers. I do that on the back of the jersey just in case I slip with the seam ripper and I damage the material on the front of the jersey. I mean, this is a little more stiff compared to this, but same thing. Sewing down the 100th anniversary patch, I'm going to have to sew very slowly. There's a small little reservoir on the edge of the anniversary patch there, and I'm trying to drop my needle in using a straight stitch, and I have to take the corners very slowly. This is a very intricate patch, and the material itself is very unforgiving. As it is rubber, anytime you make a hole, that hole isn't going anywhere. So there's no real redos. You have to keep it in place. Alright guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Tell me what you think of the jersey in the comments. I think it came out pretty well. I don't know if it came across, but sewing this ChromaFlex patch was rough. Whoever over at NFL decided that it'd be a good idea to go ahead and make these rubbery patches that if you make a mistake it shows up as a big hole. It was fun to make. I'm glad I did make it. And you know, Miles Sanders, as running backs go in the NFL, you know, I'm hoping he's gonna be good, but if he doesn't, hey, I got numbers for a Jason Kelce jersey. We'll strip this bad boy down and maybe I'll make another video. In the comments section, how do you guys feel about advertiser patches? The NBA did it, and honestly for me, it completely turned me off to it. I actually used to be more of an NBA fan than an NFL fan at one point. Greed kind of crept in there, and when the patches hit the NBA jerseys, that was the final straw for me. Anyway, are you guys okay with ad patches on your NFL jerseys? Let me know. I'm just very curious. Check me out on Instagram to see some of my projects that I don't get a chance to make videos for. Again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Man Cave Stuff.